In A Tale Dark and Grim, Adam Gidwitz decides to rehash the tried and true form of storytelling, with individual and distinct stories. The true tales of the brothers Grimm, he calls them. There are no chapters, only tales, each beginning with Once Upon a Time, and concluding not with Happily Ever After, but the end. They are interconnected only by the characters within them. I found this story incredibly refreshing. Adam Gidwitz, in the form of the story's cheeky narrator, points out all of the ludicrous things about the Grimm stories we have all noticed. It adds a level of appreciative humor and sarcasm for the reader without pulling away from the story. I only recognize two of the tales used in this: Faithful Johannes, or Faithful John, and Hansel and Gretel. Gidwitz follows these very carefully, and I can only assume he did the same with the others. This is a unique tactic in the world of retellings. Instead of taking the characters and crafting a story to fit them, he appears to have taken the stories and tweaked the characters to dwell and develop within them. It's a very interesting way of doing it, and it works successfully. Each tale is a succinct story, but they flow together to create another, bigger tale. While Gidwitz seems to faithfully reproduce the fairy tales while tweaking just the bits to fit his own idea, he also manages to infuse them with a modern sense of storytelling. Unlike the originals, these tales are expounded with description, detail, feeling, and dialogue. Not too much, but enough so the reader doesn't feel duped with only a sense of the story, instead of being embroiled in it. The tales Gidwitz uses are deliciously, and sometimes nauseatingly, dark. I thought I had read most of the Grimm tales, but I had never heard of a lot of these. And some, especially A Smile as Red as Blood, I'm very glad that I hadn't. The narrator warns throughout the book that these tales contain a lot of blood and should be kept out of the reach of little children. He isn't lying. Despite the dark and sometimes depressing content of the book, the snarky narration and interaction with the reader keeps it light and funny. An enjoyable read, especially for those of you who love the Grimm's tales. This definitely keeps close to the original themes and ideas. I am deducting 1 star because I felt that the last story was very predictable. I really wanted Gidwitz to throw in a twist to throw me off guard, and it just didn't come. On the whole, this book is fun and entertaining. The best part by far, in my opinion, is when Gidwitz points out some of the ludicrous or creepy or ridiculous things that happen in some of these stories. I can finally say, I know, right? A Tale Dark and Grim gets 4 out of 5 stars, and as far as recommending this for kids, I would say only give it to those who enjoy the darker side of fiction, like the Goosebumps series or horror stories, just because some of the stuff in this book could be very disturbing to more genteel and sensitive readers. I'm just gonna say, if I found this when I was a kid and I read it, it would have traumatized me. I think the only reason it didn't totally freak me out is because I had read many of the original Grimm tales, and I kind of knew what to expect as far as that was concerned. Grimm fairy tales were not all that happy. So this is week 2 of Once Upon a September, and I've only read 2.5 of the 14 books that I plan to read, so apparently I really need to get on that, or else I won't make it. So let me know, are you guys reading any retold fairy tales? Have you read any that you really enjoy? Have you read A Tale Dark and Grim, and what did you think of it? I should be posting my discussion video, Retold Fairy Tales and Walt Disney, later this week. So thanks for watching, remember to like and subscribe, and hey, leave me some comments!